Okay, so this week at my placement, I observed a small group during reading time. And I've actually observed this group before, earlier in the semester, so it was interesting because they did this assignment where the instructor read a story out loud. It was a really short story out loud to them. And then they had to make what they called a mental movie of what it was that they saw in her head as she read. So then she would ask them some questions out loud, and they had to write it down on their whiteboard what they believed the answer was. And she used sort of a think aloud approach to go over the students' answers. So it was really interesting because, I mean, to appeal to question number 3 where it talks about the different populations in my classroom, I think that this type of assessment really appeals to this population just because this is a small group for students who are at risk for a learning disability. We're not exactly sure what yet because this is just first grade. But the Think Aloud really gave them the opportunity to think about what it is that they saw in their head and then answer the questions that way. And it really helped them correct their errors and also think independently because since they were in a small group, a lot of them would just want to say what somebody else said. But it was good because when they used the Think Aloud approach, they were able to really think about what it was that convinced them based on their prior knowledge or just personal experiences based on what they believed the answer was. So that was really great to see. And it was really great for me just to see how well the students are doing with this because I watched them do this back in, I believe, early March or maybe even the end of February. So it was nice to see them like do this again and see how far they've come. So they've really grown using that technique. I also got to watch during, it was whole group reading, but she was pulling, my mastery teacher was pulling students aside individually, and they were working on a timed reading kind of accuracy activity that was going to help strengthen them for DIBELS. So she started by explaining to the students their strengths and some things that they needed to work on based on what they had done last time. And then she had the students read, the first girl just read a small passage out loud, and it was timed. I think she had about a minute and a half to read a passage, and it was cool because I got to watch her read through it, and she was doing really, really good, and then she got hung up on one word, and it kind of messed her up for like the remainder of it. So the teacher kind of, after she was done with the time, she told her what she did well again, and then she told her that exact same thing I said, how she got hung up on that one word and it made her frazzled and then it kind of messed her up for the rest. So it was a good way for them just kind of to reflect on what it is that they were doing wrong and internalize that and be able to fix it for next time. And the teacher was using kind of a curriculum-based measurement probe. She's been keeping a running record of them doing these activities, and I think that that really appeals to the population in this class in particular because the students are definitely showing growth. They've shown growth since I've been there, so it's definitely a great informal assessment for her to use. The second student was doing a mixture of both real words, short sentences, and nonsense words, and he is actually one of the students who's in the at-risk group. So it was good just to see how far he's come, especially with nonsense words, because I've seen him work with those before. So the running record is definitely an effective measurement for her to informally measure the progress of her students, and so that's basically it.